You ever open your front door expecting a package or a neighbor with cookies, and instead you find a total stranger standing there with a clipboard sizing up your whole life like she just bought the place at auction? That's exactly how my morning started, and buddy, I hope you never have to deal with a power-tripping HOA president before you've even had your coffee. This lady Janice Holloway, with her crisp white blouse and a face that screamed permanent principal's office, looked me over like she was judging every brick and blade of grass. Clipboard up, chin high, attitude dialed to 11. She didn't knock, she hammered like she was kicking down a saloon door in some old western, and from the way she glared, I figured she expected me to salute. You know what I mean? That look that says, "I own you." I swear the air in my hallway dropped 10 degrees when she stepped up. And she starts right in, "I'm Janice Holloway, president of the Homeowners Association, and I'm here for an immediate inspection." Not a hello, not a "how's the wife," no. This was someone who thought her title made her sheriff, mayor, and grand inquisitor all rolled into one. Now, I'm a pretty calm guy, and I know you don't win by yelling first. But inside, I was boiling. My wife Sarah and we worked hard for this house, and this was our safe place. I told her as level as I could. "Mrs. Holloway, I appreciate you stopping by, but we'll need advanced written notice before any inspection." You'd think I'd insulted her ancestors. Her eyes got wild, her mouth set, and she snapped, "How dare you quote procedures to me? I'm the authority here." I had to swallow the urge to laugh, mostly because I didn't want her calling the cops just for looking at her funny. But I wasn't about to let anyone barge in and disrespect the life Sarah and I had built. I stood my ground. She left muttering threats, but that wasn't the end, not even close. Next morning, I'm in my office editing wildlife photos. I do a lot of work for magazines, trying to keep things peaceful, trying to live that quiet neighborhood life you dream about. And suddenly, I hear rustling outside. Not the wind, not a stray cat. This was the unmistakable sound of someone who thinks they're invisible, but is really about as subtle as a marching band at midnight. I look out the window and there's Janice again, except this time she's packing what looks like a professional recording setup. She's peering around our mailbox, whispering into her phone, and every so often a sketchy-looking guy in a junky old car circles by, snapping photos on her signal. My blood ran cold. She'd escalated from busybody to surveillance state in less than 24 hours. This wasn't just about HOA rules. This was personal. She had a stranger with a camera photographing my family, my home. I could feel that old primal protectiveness come up. You know, that feeling when you realize someone isn't just annoying, they're dangerous. Yeah. I started gathering my own evidence. 8 years photographing wildlife teaches you how to notice the details. The irony wasn't lost on me. I was using my skills as a photographer to document a predator on my own doorstep. Except this one wore high heels and carried a clipboard. Sarah and we weren't the first ones she'd targeted either. Turns out our neighbor Tom Bradley, quiet, steady guy, lives down the block, comes by with a warning. He'd seen this pattern before. Janice had driven the Johnsons out by filing bogus complaints, getting their kids investigated, making life so miserable they just gave up and sold their home at a loss. She weaponized the HOA, used the system to grind people down until they cracked. "You gotta fight back," Tom said, "but you need to be smart about it." That was the twist for me, realizing this wasn't some petty feud. This was organized, methodical. She'd done it before and she'd do it again if someone didn't stand up. Sure enough, not even a day later, there's a patrol car out front. Officer Jake Wilson, polite but wary, asking questions with his hand hovering near his radio. Janice had called the cops, spinning some wild tale of harassment, threatening behavior, painting me as the neighborhood psycho. I could see in his eyes he'd heard this stuff before, but rules are rules, and he had to check it out. Now let me back up a sec. This is the kind of moment that makes or breaks you. I handed over every bit of evidence I'd gathered, photos, video logs of her showing up, lists of times she called city offices. I kept my hands steady, my voice calm, and I could see the shift in Officer Wilson as he went through it all. Suspicion turned to concern, then outright disbelief at just how much effort Janice had put into making our lives hell. He tells me, "Mr. Ramsey, looks to me like you're responding to harassment, not starting it." Relief hit me like a wave, but it wasn't over yet. Janice didn't know when to quit. Within hours, she'd doubled down, calling my editors at the magazines I work for, making anonymous complaints questioning my ethics, my professionalism. She wanted to take away my livelihood, make sure I couldn't pay the bills. You ever feel like your whole life's crumbling because of one person's lies? That's the power a well-placed accusation has. My main editor put my projects on hold, just in case. By that point, I knew we had to turn the tables. With Tom as a witness, Officer Wilson coming back for follow-up, and Sarah, who, by the way, is a police chief, though Janice hadn't bothered to check, things started shifting. Janice, convinced she finally had law enforcement on her side, storms over to Sarah in uniform, rattling off charges about organized criminal conspiracy against HOA authority. I almost choked, trying not to laugh. But Sarah, cool as ice, tells her, "Ma'am, those are serious accusations. I'll need a written statement." And Janice, so blinded by her own power signs, everything sealing her fate. Within 48 hours, the DA's office was involved. Turns out Janice had been doing this for years. False police reports, harassment, intimidation, even faking credentials. Once neighbors heard about her being investigated, people came out of the woodwork with their own stories and proof. Tom's photos, other families' statements, even old phone records, 40 complaints in a month, all bogus. Janice went from president to pariah. She was removed from office, charged criminally, lost her consulting business, and her name became a cautionary tale. Our community, it changed overnight. Families who'd tiptoed around for years started coming out again, talking organizing cookouts, letting kids play in the street. Tom was elected the new HOA president by unanimous vote. First order of business, clear, fair procedures, no more secret inspections, no more queen of the clipboard. We even changed the neighborhood sign from violations enforced to welcome home. I caught the moment on camera, a crowd of neighbors planting flowers, kids painting rocks, laughter echoing down the block. For the first time in years, people felt safe. Mrs. Patterson, who used to hide inside after Janice threatened her over hanging laundry, started hosting coffee mornings. The Martinez family, who almost lost their kids to false reports, became advocates, helping anyone who felt bullied by the system. Looking back, the real victory wasn't just getting Janice out, it was watching our street come alive again. Folks who'd stopped waving started smiling, doors open, people helped each other instead of hiding. And my career bounced back. Turns out, editors love a redemption story, and a photo essay about fighting HOA tyranny that made the rounds. So here's my advice. If you're dealing with a bully, keep records, stand your ground. Don't let fear silence you. Sometimes the worst storms bring out the courage you didn't know you had, and sometimes all it takes is one person refusing to back down to change everything for everyone. Ever been through something like this? Drop your story in the comments. Let's hear how you stood up to the neighborhood tyrant, or what justice looked like on your street. Who knows, maybe together we'll make sure folks like Janice never get to rule by fear again.